Hello, my dear friend, Santosh here. How are you all? I hope you all are good and healthy. Okay, friends, today we discuss Jainism. Sects, schools of Jainism, Jain Council, Jain architecture, Jain literature text, contribution of Jainism. How is Jainism different from Buddhism? And last point, Jain ideology in today world. Okay, sects, schools of Jainism. Jain order has been divided into two major sects, Digambar, Shwetambar. Digambar monks, first we discuss Digambar. First point, monks of this sect believe in complete nudity. Male monks do not wear clothes while female monks wear unstitched plain white saris. Next point, follow all five vows Satya, Ahimsa, Asatya, Aparigraha and Brahmacharya. Next point, believe women cannot achieve liberation. And next point, Bhadrabhahu was an exponent of this sect. Fifth point, major subsects. First one, Mulla Sangha, Visha Pantha. Next, Tera Pantha. Last one, Taran Pantha or Samagya Pantha. Minor subsects. Okay, Guman Pantha, Totan Pantha. Now we discuss Shwetambar. First point, monks wear white clothes. Second point, follow only 4 rows except Brahmacharya. Third point, believe women can achieve liberation. Digambar not believe that women achieve liberation, but Shwetambar believe they achieve liberation. Okay. Fourth point, Stul Bhadraya was an exponent of this sect. Fifth point, major subsects. Murti Pujaka, Stan Vasi, Tera Panthi. Okay. Now we discuss this all in simple words. Jain order has been divided into two major sects, Digambar and Shwetambar. The division occurred mainly due to the famine in Magadha, which compelled a group led by Bhadrabhahu to move South India. During the 12-year famine, the group in South India stuck to the strict practices, while the group in Magadha adopted a more lax attitude and started wearing white clothes. After the end of famine, when the southern group came back to Magadha, the changed practices led to the division of Jainism into two sects. Okay, now we discuss Jain Council. First Jain Council held at Patliputra in 3rd century BC and was presided by Stul Bhadra. Second Jain Council held at Vallabhi in 512 AD and was presided by Devvardhi Kashmash Ramana. Next point, finally compilation of 12 Angas and 12 Upangas. Okay, Jain architecture. Jain architecture cannot be accredited with a style of its own. It was almost an offshoot of Hindu and Buddhist styles. Types of Jain architecture. First we discuss Laina Gumphas caves. Okay. Ellora caves in Maharashtra, Mangi Tungi cave in Maharashtra, Gajab Pantha cave in Maharashtra, Udaygiri Khandgiri caves in Odisha, Hathi Gumpha cave in Odisha, Stanvasal cave in Tamil Nadu. Statues. Gomiteshwara Bahubali statue, Shravan Belangola in Karnataka. Statue of Ahimsa Rishabhnath Mangi Tungi Hills in Maharashtra. Okay. Jainale. Jainale means a temple. Okay. First point, Dilwara temple in Mount Abu in Rajasthan. Second, Girnar and Palitana temple in Gujarat. Mukti Giri temple in Maharashtra. Okay. Manastambha. It is found in front side of temple having religious importance with an ornamental tall pillar structure carrying the image of Trinkantara on top and on all four cardinal directions. Basardis, Jain monastic establishment or temples in Karnataka. Jain literature and text. Jain literature is classified into two major categories: Agam or canonical literature, Agam Sutra. Second point, non-Agam literature. First we discuss Agam or canonical literature, Agam Sutra. Okay. Agam literature consists of many texts which are the sacred books of Jain religion. They are written in the Ardha Magadhi, a form of Prakritic language. Second, non-Agam literature. Non-Agam literature consists of commentary and explanation of Agam literature and independent work compiled by ascetic and scholars. They are written in many languages such as Prakritic, Sanskrit, Apramasa, Old Marathi, Rajasthani, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Tamil, German and English. Okay, contribution of Jainism. First point, attempt to reform the level of Varna order. Second point, growth of Prakritic and Kannada. Third point, contributed to architecture and literature immensely. Okay friends, now we discuss contribution of Jainism in simple words. Jainism made the first serious attempt to mitigate the evil of Varna order and ritualistic Vedic religion. The early Jainis discarded Sanskrit language, mainly patronized by the Brahmins. They adopted Prakritic language of the common people to preach their doctrines. Their religious literature was written in Ardham Gadi and the texts were finally compiled in 6th century AD in Gujarat. A place called Vallabhi, a great center of education. The adoption of Prakritic by the Jains helped the growth of this language and its literature. Many religion languages developed out of Prakritic language, particularly Sani, out of which grew the Marathi language. The Jainis composed the earliest important works in Apramsa and prepared its first grammar. The Jain literature contains epics, Purans, novels and drama. A large portion of the Jain writing is still in the form of manuscripts, which have not been published and which are found in the Jaina Shrenis of Gujarat and Rajasthan. In early medieval times, the Jainis are also made good use of Sanskrit and wrote many texts in it. Last but not the least, they contribute to the growth of Kannada, in which they wrote extensively. Initially, like the Buddhists, the Jainis were not image worshippers. Later, they began to worship Mahavira and also the 23 Trinkaras, beautiful and sometimes massive images in stone were sculptured for this purpose, especially in Karnataka, Gujarat, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Jain art in ancient time is not as rich as Buddhist art, but Jainism contributes substantially to art and architecture in medieval times. Okay, how is Jainism different from Buddhism? Okay, Jainism recognized the existence of God while Buddhism did not. Jainism does not condemn the Varna system while Buddhism does. Jainism believe in transmigration of soul, reincarnations, while Buddhism does not. Buddhism prescribe a middle path while Jainism advocate its followers to live the life of complete austerity. Jain ideology in today's world. The Jain theory of Anekvada translated into practical terms in social context would mean three principles. First one, absence of dogmatism of fanatism. Second point, honoring the freedom of others. Third point, peaceful coexistence and cooperation. Anekvada highlight the spirit of intellectual and social tolerance in the world. First point, the principle of ahimsa, non-violence, gains prominence in today's nuclear world to attain long-lasting peace in society. The concept of ahimsa can also help to counter growing violence and terrorism. Next point, the principle of aparigraha means non-positions can help to control the consumerist habit, as there is a great increase in greed and possessive tendencies. Next point, global warming also can be healed with this thought by doing away with unwanted luxuries which produce carbon emission. Okay friends, thank you for watching my videos. See you again in my next video. Okay, bye bye. See you again.